Hey guys, this is Feych. After starting this channel, I was going to talk, and if the subscribers are not going to understand me, and it's going to be confusing for them. So why don't I explain for them? So today, for this video, I'm going to explain to you what is a CPU. So what is and everything you need to know about it. Let's start. Bro, are you starting this channel without knowing the CPU? Are you serious? Like seriously, bro? It's a tech channel. You should know what is a CPU is. Calm down, bro. I know what is a CPU. You don't have to tell me what is it. So why are you making this video? You were supposed to know all this kind of stuff before you start this channel. Because my intention is to explain to them. I didn't even start why I'm doing this. So chill, bro. Like chill. You don't even know what are you talking about. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Hey, get up. Leave me alone. Get up, get up, get up. Leave me alone. And subscribe, guys. Subscribe. Don't listen to him. Or unsubscribe. I don't give a shit. So, let's start with what is a CPU. A CPU is a central processing unit. We'll see it right here. What's the role of a CPU in the computer? So it's the main role to CPU is to process and execute some instructions, interact with other parts. It is like the main core, it is the core component that defines the power of your computing system. But it's not the sole component. They are the brains of your computing system. So the CPU works in three phases. First one, it's fetch, and then decode and execute. So it's fetches the information from your memory, and it decodes the instruction, and then send them to other parts. It could be sent to RAM, like to open Office faster. In fact, this is what makes start Windows to open, like for example YouTube, like you open YouTube to watch one video. Yeah. Okay, so the construction of a CPU, it's constructed by placing billions of microscopic transistors, and it's like really small, and these transistors they make the calculations to run programs and softwares, like you know the computer language of 1 and 0. This what transistors makes, like they make the calculations of these numbers to create something. And the more the transistors are small, the more we put more, like there are more transistors in the CPU, the more it is better. So what it contains, the CPU, what's inside the CPU? You have the cores. The main thing of a CPU, it's cores. Most of CPU contains at least 2 cores, dual cores. There are also quad cores, 8, 10, 12, 16. Could be even I heard that you could have also 32 cores. You could also have 64 cores. And these cores helps you to make different tasks in the same time. The more you have, the more you can do different tasks, I think. For example, editors and creators like me needs at least 6 cores to run some simple softwares. In my office I have 8 cores and I think 12 threads, which I'm going to explain right now. Every CPU contains at least 2 threads that can do more than one task at the same time. It's like they're called logical cores. They're not as powerful as the physical cores, but like they do mostly the same thing with less power. We have also clock speed. The clock speed of each CPU is the amount of information that a single core can handle per second, and they are calculated with the gigahertz. So if you see a CPU with like for example 3.1 gigahertz, it's good, it's normal, the 3.1 gigahertz. I think like if you wanna go surpass 4 gigahertz, when you arrive at 5 gigahertz, this is like super, like this is like very good. i3, i5, i7, i9. Let me explain. The i3 is the most cheap one, but it's not very powerful. It cannot handle a lot of information, it cannot handle a lot of heavy work. i5 is faster, but it's also for budget PC building. Most people are going to go with i5. You know, it's cheap, could sometimes handle some heavy work. Depends on what are you going to use. The i7 is the fastest one, and it could handle a lot of heavy work, and also it consumes a lot of energy, but it is way more expensive. The i9 are meant to, like, for expensive builds and for people who works a lot on heavy programs or games. With AMD we have the same thing, but they are called Ryzen 3, 5, 7 and 9. They are also series with Intel and AMD, but the Intel Core i something and the AMD Ryzen something are the main CPUs. Letters and numbers. After the name of the CPU we have some numbers. In summary, the higher is the number, the better it is, like the CPU. For AMD CPUs, there's a number. We have X or XC, which like the XC, it launched not a few weeks ago. And for Intel we have, for example, K for overclocked CPUs that could run faster. The G are for inbuilt graphics, like in the CPU graphics processor. The T uses less power, and the U are meant for laptops and mobile devices CPUs. So yeah, and like before, like for example, we have 10,000 i7 10700K. The 10,000, the first two numbers, or before it was like i7 8700, i7 9700. The difference is the generation. So right in this year we are in 10th generation. Last year we were in 9th generation, and go on. With Ryzen, AMD, they just launched the 4000 series, which I'm going to explain after. But in another video also, like, I have seen a lot of videos about it, and I think they're not the best. I think that 3000 series was better. Are Intel and AMD, which are the two main companies or two main manufacturers of these CPUs, and it depends on what you will run and other components that you will have inside your build. That PC CPU versus mobile CPUs. What is the difference? So PC CPUs performs many processing functions. However, mobile or tablet performance utilizes a SoC, which is system on chip, which has the chip itself with other components like graphics processor and memory, like it's inside the CPU. But mobile are not like good. Like for example, every mobile have CPU, but this CPU is not like powerful, because if you put a really powerful CPU, it's going to heat a lot. It's going to be really hot when you take the phone with you. So cost of the CPU, if you're not a gamer or a professional content creator, you should like spend less than $200 on a CPU. Or like someone who always makes a lot of heavy work, for example designing this, you are a designer or anything else, you have to spend a lot more. I think you should get at least Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9 or i7 or i9. It depends on your budget also. So is it important, the CPU? Is it like really important for the build? Yes, it is really important, because they are the brains of your system. Without the CPU, you can't open Windows, you can't open your computer itself. But it's not the most important thing, because if you have a CPU but you don't have a memory, which all of these components I'm going to explain after, you can't use the CPU. This is how it works. Don't ask me why. In fact, a fast CPU it cannot do all the heavy work, because you will need a GPU, which we will leave it for the next video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe or subscribe. And yeah. Maybe leave a comment if you have any advice. Leave a comment of what you think of the importance of a CPU. Thanks and bye.